Hey, I'm Henry, and in late 2009, I started a blog without knowing anyone or anything about blogging. I certainly didn't feel like I had anything to say or that I was good enough. There were too many blogs out there, and I was afraid of the competition and of how things would turn out. But I took action anyway because I was so sick of listening to my own excuses, and by taking tiny steps and moving forward, I was able to build a 10,000 subscriber blog, over 10,000 subscribers, and still growing rapidly. So in this video, you'll learn the 7 crucial lessons I learned and the foolish mistakes I made. So let's start with numero uno, which is tiny steps. You don't have to figure everything out. When I started, I didn't know what niche or market I wanted to go into. All I knew was that I wanted to share the things I'd learned in life and in business. And I was 23 years old at the time, so you can imagine that I felt like I didn't really have anything to say. And what blogging for me came down to is facing my fears and my assumptions, challenging my assumptions, because we all have these thoughts in our head that say that we aren't good enough, we won't succeed if we start blogging, why would anyone listen to what we have to say? But those are just thoughts. They are assumptions and opinions of what might come in the future, and they are rarely true. So I got into the habit of challenging my assumptions and just telling myself that I may fail, but I'll try anyway and see what happens. And when I did, I realized that my assumptions were very often wrong. I felt like I didn't have anything to say, but I started blogging anyway, and people came to my blog. They enjoyed what they read, and I started attracting an audience and later building a business around a topic that I enjoy and am passionate about. And another mistake I made was thinking that I needed to have a breakthrough idea or find the perfect untapped niche, but I didn't need any of that. I just simply needed to start with what I had and where I was. I needed to focus on the present moment and do what I could with what I had. Because that's what this is about. This is a journey. When you obsess over where you're going and how things will turn out, you end up being an anxious wreck, and you can't do anything. When you focus on the present moment and you focus on following your inspiration and enjoying the journey, everything changes. The second lesson I learned was how powerful it is to share your story. So you see a picture here of my son Vincent. I think he was a bit over a year old in this picture. We're looking at a children's book, and I'm reading to him, and I share this story on my blog with my readers, customers, and clients, because when you share what you have to say, where you come from, how you think, and how you view the world, you create what I call connection points. You give people handles to grab onto, and they start feeling like they know you because you've given them information about your life. For example, the people that follow me know that I'm into things like being in the present moment, mindfulness, meditation, and spirituality, but in a really practical way, in a way that can be applied to your life and your business. And I share all of this with my readers, and I'm in constant conversation with the people that I interact with, and it makes them feel like they know me and I know them when I talk to them via email. Now, a thing I ran into in the beginning was that I felt like my story was mundane and too simple for anyone to care. And the fact of the matter is, or what I discovered, was that my story felt mundane because it's so familiar to me. I live my life, I live my story, so I know all the details. There are no mysteries for me. But when I started sharing my story anyway, just to see what would happen, I realized that my story was much more powerful than I realized, because I could share a problem that I had overcome, and someone else could read that and be incredibly inspired. So don't be afraid to share your story, no matter how mundane it is. Just remember to make your story relevant to your readers. So for example, I often help people find and follow their passion, and that's something I've done in my life. So I share my story of how I found my passion and how I'm now able to do work I love, and people find that inspiring. And I find that mundane and sometimes boring, but I know it helps people, so I do it anyway. Now, number 3 is to tell the world about the work you do. In the beginning of my blogging career, I was apprehensive about promoting my blog and going to someone else, maybe guest blogging or making a video or being interviewed, because I felt like marketing was something bad. But I eventually discovered that marketing and promotion, when done right, is simply an extension of your work. It's another opportunity to help people. So it's not sleazy unless you make it sleazy. It's like a knife. It can be used to heal or to kill. So don't be afraid to promote your blog. And especially in the beginning, you have to get out there and tell people about your blog and about your work. And you have to spend more time outside of your blog than on your blog. So you have to do whatever you can to bring people to your blog. And the strategy I used was guest blogging. I went from 0 to around 1,000 subscribers in 101 days, and I did it all through guest blogging, which simply means writing articles for someone else, another website, another blog, or even a magazine, because then you get a byline, as you see here, and you can link back to your blog, back to your newsletter, or if you've written a book, you can do that as well. Now, number 4 is to focus on what matters. When I started blogging, I saw all these tools that I could use. For example, social media, podcasting, videos, joint ventures, guest blogging, and it was all so overwhelming. But I was lucky to meet a mentor that helped me realize what truly mattered in an online business and in blogging. And that was to build your list, to build your email list. And here you can see my website in the early days. I think, this was in 2010. You can see that I offered an ebook for anyone that joined my newsletter. So make building your email list a priority, because my email list is what has helped me launch courses, books, coaching programs, and a membership site. It is what enables me to do work I love and to build relationships with people. And the unfortunate truth is that most people ignore building their list. When I work with clients and I help them set up their online business and make progress, they often try to avoid creating an email list and getting people on it. I don't know why that is. But the email list is your number 1 priority, because it is what enables everything else. Then we have advice, and I discovered this very early on. So I started my blog in late 2009, but I had actually tried making a living online before that. So I started trying to figure this thing out in 2006. I spent over $10,000 on coaching. That didn't work. The coach wasn't the best in the world, but I also wasn't the smartest cookie on the planet. But what I learned from spending 2 to 3 years banging my head against the wall was to take advice with a grain of salt. I'm here to create my own path and my own life. I'm in this because I enjoy helping people, I enjoy doing what I love, and I enjoy the freedom that it brings. And I didn't start seeing success until I started listening to my gut, my heart, my inner wisdom, my inspiration, my passion. So take advice and make it your own. Don't just follow someone blindly, but apply it to your business, to your blog, and see what kind of results you get. If you don't get any results, or if it doesn't feel good, then discard it and find something else. This is about you and your life and your blog, so you have to determine what you want to do and how you want to build your blog. And don't just listen to yourself, but listen to your readers, your customers, your clients. How can you help them move forward? Because that's what blogging is all about. The more value you give, the more people will be attracted to you. So become curious about what your readers need. Tell them in your email newsletter to feel free to email you. and let you know about the biggest frustration they run into. Conduct surveys. Read your comments, respond to your comments, look at comments on other blogs, visit forums, and start writing down what kind of problems people have in your market. You can use Evernote for this, which I really enjoy because it keeps me organized and it helps me understand my market better. So you can see here a picture of a survey I did and the answers I got back. And you don't have to create elaborate surveys. You can simply ask one question, and that question is, what's your number one problem to achieving your goal, whatever that is in your market? So for me, that's getting paid to do what you love online, or building an online business. And when you do that, you start getting answers. People start telling you what's stopping them. So for example, I got answers like people didn't know how to find their niche. They had self-doubt, distracting thoughts. They couldn't stay organized. They didn't know where to begin, what to focus on, what a blog needed, how to build their list. And all of that information gave me something to start with. I could use some of it for blog posts, some of it for courses, for books, and a membership site or a community. So become curious about what your readers need. And I found that the more I listen and the more I understand, the more grateful people are, the more they spread the word about my blog, the more my blog grows, and the more people I can help. And last but not least is to kill your expectations. There are a lot of marketers out there that say that you can build a 6-figure blog in 6 months. And for some people that may be possible, but not for most people, at least not in my experience. So forget about whatever you've learned and simply notice what you feel inspired to do. If you feel inspired to start a blog, then start a blog. But don't expect to succeed right away. But don't expect to not succeed right away. Just do what you can in the present moment. Focus on right here, right now. And a great quote from the Bhagavad Gita is, "Desire for the fruits of one's actions brings worry about possible failure. When you're preoccupied with end results, you pull yourself from the present into an imagined, usually fearful future. Then your anxiety robs your energy and, making matters worse, you lapse into inaction and laziness." So worrying about the future, about what's to come, actually makes you less likely to achieve the goal you want to achieve. So all you can do is to do your best right here, right now. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. That's enough, because that's all you can do. And that's all I did when I started my blog. I was afraid, I was confused, I doubted myself, I had my fears, I had my excuses, but I decided to start anyway and to see what would happen. And people started reading my articles even though I thought they were no good. And gradually I realized that maybe my assumptions and fears weren't right after all. So take action and experiment, because that's the way you'll discover what matters. Now let's briefly summarize what we've gone through and the 7 lessons I've learned. The first one is to take tiny steps. Forget about breakthrough ideas and building an amazing blog right away. Just start the blog, start writing, and see what happens. The second lesson is to share your story, to give people connection points and handles, because that's how they'll get to know, like, and trust you. When you share your story, people see that you know what you're talking about. And don't be afraid to promote your blog. When you're starting out, you should spend more time promoting your blog than you spend writing content for it. Now, you want to have some content on your blog, but you want to spend the majority of your time promoting it. So find a promotional strategy, a traffic strategy that you resonate with. Might be guest blogging, videos, podcasting, interviews, whatever it is. Try a lot of different things and find one that gives you the results you want and that works for you. Number 4 was to focus on what matters, because building a blog to me is like building a business. And even if you build a personal blog, You need to build an email list so you can stay in touch with people. Forget about RSS. Forget about social media for now. It's fine, but you need to focus on just one thing in the beginning. Put the majority of your focus on one thing and you will see much better results. Number 5 is to take advice with a grain of salt, even my advice. I'm just sharing my story with you, so take my story, take what resonates with you, apply it in your life and see what happens and how it works. And number 6 is to listen to your readers, your customers and clients. Conduct surveys, read your comments, or respond to commenters, interact with people via email. You could even offer free coaching sessions just to learn what your readers are struggling with so you can help them better. Last but not least, kill your expectations. You don't know what will happen. You don't know if it'll be good or bad. And even if it's bad, you don't know if the bad will turn into something good. So focus on the present moment and do the best you can right here, right now, because that's all you can do. So you might as well enjoy the journey and enjoy learning all of this. And the only thing that really matters is that you experiment. Forget about anything that holds you back. If you think you need something in order to start, you don't. You just need to start with what you have and do your best. Just do what you can with what you have and start where you are, because you will learn as you move forward. Don't try to learn everything before you start, because it doesn't work. I know, because I've tried that for several years. So start with what you have. You may feel uncomfortable, but do what you can anyway. Take tiny steps and take action. And remember to enjoy the journey, because while you may feel uncomfortable, that's just a sign that you're moving forward and doing something new. When you're pushing your comfort zone, you will feel uncomfortable and even overwhelmed. And it's okay. Just keep moving forward and you can build a popular blog and a business around a topic that you enjoy. Now, if you want more or if you have any questions, come visit me at wakeupcloud.com, where we have a thriving community of people who are doing work they love. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to click like, click subscribe, because there's a lot more coming. So this is Henry from wakeupcloud.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below or visit me at wakeupcloud.com.